King Sombra, the mysterious unicorn who took over the Crystal Empire before being defeated by the main six plus Spike. You'd be lying if you said you didn't have a crush on this horse, and I know this because I've seen your art of him, you sick fox. But as much art exists of King Sombra, not much is known about him. In the show, he's just some random villain who took over a kingdom a long time ago. But what if I told you there was an amazingly beautiful story about love, loss, friendship, and redemption hiding in the depths of a story that some, if not all, have either forgotten or never seen? Today I'm going to share that story and tell you all about the time that King Sombra was redeemed. The story begins at the Crystal Empire in modern day. Princess Cadance is getting help from Princess Twilight to open up a secret passage that King Sombra created many years ago. Here they discover a book that tells the tale of what really happened to King Sombra. The book explains that poor little Sombra was found in the frozen wastes just north of the Crystal Empire by guards. When they asked where his family was, he could only respond with Sombra, and so they made that his name and brought him to the Crystal Empire. Sombra was taken to the Chestnut Falls orphanage and put into class with every other pony, but Sombra struggled. He could barely speak English, but eventually overcame this struggle and learned fast. That didn't matter, however, because the other kids of the kingdom rejected him for being weird and for not having his cutie mark. All except for one pony. That pony was Radiant Hope. They were a weird pony who believed in fairies and said that she could see them. She quickly became best friends with Sombra, developing their own circuit-coded language, their own games, and being there for each other while every other pony made fun of them. Later on, Hope taught Sombra about the Crystal Heart, and he got curious enough to visit it with her. Once there, he took a look at the heart and saw a terrible reflection of his potential future, one where he was taking over the kingdom. Afterwards, Sombra met Princess Amore, who he lied to in fear of what would happen. Meanwhile, Hope saw herself becoming a princess. Sombra's first crystal fair came a few days later and it affected him. He lost the ability to move. He grew weaker than ever before. It was like he was being torn apart, but as the night finally came and the festivities were over, he finally was able to sleep and rest. Year after year, this happened every crystal fair until one day he nearly exploded. He was saved by Hope, who had finally got her cutie mark based on her healing magic. Her magic was so extraordinary, Celestia and Luna themselves wanted her to study with them and potentially become a princess. The mere thought of this news made Sombra run away, scared that if what she saw in the heart was coming true for her, his destiny must also be coming true. So he fled to the wastes, and in the wastes, Sombra learned that he was not a normal pony. In fact, he was an Umbrum, a shadow pony. He was given his powers and sent out to destroy their Crystal Heart, or otherwise he would be killed by it instead. So he traveled there and met Amore and Hope both. Sombra turned Amore into a dark crystal statue thing and then shattered her, spreading her pieces all over the world. The two sisters learned of this and set out to banish him for 1,000 years, but in so doing, Sombra took the Crystal Empire with him until the time that he may come back. In modern time, Sombra had recovered because of Hope's magic on the last remaining piece of Sombra, his horn. With Sombra free, he teamed up with Queen Chrysalis to defeat Twilight and her friends, and even the two sisters. Hope later brought Cadance to the Shadow Prison where all the Umbran were kept in an effort to show that Umbran are good. Unfortunately, Cadance's magic revealed that the Umbran to be truly bad. They then revealed their plan to create Sombra, so that they could pass through the prison and eventually grow strong enough to free them. It was too late, however, and they were released. Sombra freed them and took over. A rebel force was made up of Twilight's friends and other characters to hopefully defeat the Umbrams before they can get anywhere beyond the Crystal Empire. And after an epic battle, Sombra was left with his final choice: destroy the Crystal Heart and to cement his victory forever, or return it and re-imprison the Umbram for good. In the end, he chose good, but it cost him his body. He began fading away before Hope and the others joined in to prevent his fading. They all had forgiven him, and at last, Sombra had redeemed himself for all that he had done. However, there was still one last thing left unfinished for him. Princess Amore, Sombra's last act and promise was to travel the world with Hope in an effort to find all the pieces of her statue that he destroyed and return her so that she may live again. And that's pretty much it. That's the story of Sombra's redemption. It's honestly a lot longer than this, and it's honestly a massive shame that this was never really explored in the show and was actually just retconned in the show, in fact. Instead of giving us this story or some other story that we really wanted, they just made him come back because of Discord, only to have him explode again. If you're interested in this story that I just told, it's retconned. It was canon for a while, but it does exist. This is something that was officially written by like actual people that work on the, I guess not the show, but they write it, they write comics and stuff like that. This full story is available in the My Little Pony comics, starting with issue number 1 of Fiendship is Magic, and then continuing on in the Friendship is Magic comic series around the 30th issue. I highly encourage you to check this out if you haven't already, as I skipped some parts so to leave things a little less spoiled for you in case you got curious and wanted to check it out yourself. There's also tons of more comics that I want to go over and talk about on the channel in the future, so if you liked what you saw and heard today, please do like, subscribe, and share, and do all of those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That is not all you get. We all know that's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.